Hello and welcome to Distant Worlds 2. We are beginning a new playthrough. I did not play this game when it initially came out. I should say I tried to play it, but it had a lot of bugs and there was a lot of things wrong with it. But they just relatively recently released a major patch, and they've been patching all the way along. And I think the game is like finally to a working state. When I did play it, I had some fun with it. I think it was really enjoyable. So let's go ahead and start up a new galaxy here. We'll do a spiral galaxy with 1,000 stars. We'll do sparse nebulas and 8x8 sector galaxy size. I like to start out pre-warp, kind of extend the time and the difficulty. And then we leave it on restless difficulty. I want it on extreme difficulty, so like the hardest possible setting. Very slow research, which just gives us more time to enjoy the specific sections of research, so we're not just plowing through it and leapfrogging, discovering new research before we even finish building ships that have the existing stuff. So we'll make it nice and really slow. I don't necessarily care for I don't know if they fixed the tech tree yet. It used to lag, which is one of the main reasons you would choose only the next projects are visible. But I've always chosen all projects visible, and I think that's fine. And we'll just stick with fixed research paths this time around. They did in the patch fix some stuff with randomized researching, but I don't think I'm ready to go down there. And then we're going to disallow tech trading. I don't like the idea of the AI trading all the text back and forth. However, espionage is still available for us and them, so I think that will be all right. If we look at threats, I want a ton of very strong pirates. They could be average, and then once they're dead, they're dead. I don't want them coming back. We could do a normal amount of space creatures. Colony-wise, I think it's fine to a normal amount of colonies. So rare independent colonies, I don't necessarily... they can provide such a boon to you that I don't necessarily want an abundant quantity of them. We'll leave it at standard range and 300. I had it at 200 when I was playing, but sometimes that's just a little too short, so I'm going to bump it back up to 300. We're going to look at my race. I think I will play... I think I'll play the humans this time around. Or Akdarians. I'll play the humans. We'll go with them for now. Yeah. We'll stick with that for the time being. Select our flag here. We'll stick with democracy for the time being. Although some of this other stuff could be good for military like games, but we'll stick with democracy for now. Empire flag, I think I'm gonna go with let's be green. And let's do the Catharian Empire. Okay, home system. We'll do normal, starting, pre-warp, starting location, random. I've played both inner and outer, and it's been about the same, so I'll just leave it on random, and we'll see what happens. And we'll just do random 12 starting, and leave all of this stuff at the default victory conditions, no time limits. And we'll go ahead and get started with the game. So this should be a relatively interesting playthrough. By no means do I think I'm an expert at this game, but I do like challenging myself with trying the highest difficulty setting and slowing down the tech. We'll see how it goes. So as I go along, I will try to remember to explain stuff as I'm going through it and like why I'm making the decisions that I'm making. Although it could go horribly wrong and I could lose, so you know, who knows. Okay, I do want to pause. We have our first starship constructed. Let's go ahead and pause. I want to look at some of the settings here. So now again, disclaimer, it's been a long time since I've played, so I don't know if anything has changed in the patch notes, so I'm going off my previous knowledge until until I figure out if it was right or wrong. So if I look at policy settings, I do have some of the stuff set to automatic, but I do want a fair amount of stuff like crash research. I do want that at manual. Ship and base design, I want manual. Character location intelligence missions. Okay, so character locations automatic is fine. I don't know if I made a. Okay, so population policy. I think we could leave that on automated for now, but I might want to change that to manual at some point in the future. Colony facilities, I think they could suggest, but I don't want them to necessarily do it. They could, yeah, stock levels, tax rates, funding levels. We can go ahead and leave all of that on automatic. Ship construction, they could recommend, but I don't necessarily want them to automatically build it. Repair abandoned ships and bases. I think I do want to leave that automated, at least for the time being. Research, ship and base design, I do want to leave it manual for the time being. I can always click the automatic button once we're in there. Character locations, diplomacy gifts. Yeah, all this stuff you could suggest. I don't want you actually doing it. Troop recruitment, fleet formation, fleet posturing, and fleet management. I'm gonna leave those all at manual for the time being. Colonization, suggest. I think that's fine. We'll leave tax rates. So these are empire funding levels. I don't think that is necessarily. Yeah, funding levels I want to leave manual. Okay, and the reason for that is you want to make sure to spend pretty much all of the money you have available, and split it between colony growth and research depending on what your need is. If you need colonies to grow or if you want to just focus on research, you don't necessarily want them to be messing with any of these settings, because there are some weird things that happen with these percentages, and I'll when we get to that point, I'll kind of explain that. Colonies and tax rates, we can leave that on automatic. Construction, we'll leave that on manual. Let's go to, I think the rest of the stuff I'll leave on normal for now. I do want to look at, is it diplomacy? No, not diplomacy. Intelligence missions. Okay, so I want to leave it on manual. And I think I'm just going to focus on stealing a lot of research, at least for the time being. But since we're not automating it, I think none of these selections necessarily matter. So let's go ahead and click and take a look at our system here. So we start off in the system. We are kind of near the middle of the galaxy. Well, the middle, not in the center of the galaxy, but the middle between the outer band and not. We have a couple stars around us, but we do have a big gap right here. So that could be good, that could be bad. We'll see what happens. So we have a new exploration ship available to us. Our ship is, well, this constructor is under construction, but this exploration ship is available. I am gonna, it is on fully automate, and I'm gonna leave it on fully automated, and it's gonna just start moving around on its own. Early warp field experiments, I think it's fine to leave that on for now. Yeah, we already have 50%, so I don't want to necessarily crash it, do a crash right now. We might have an event that will do that for us, so I'm not really going to mess with that for the time being. Small spaceport, let's go ahead and build that. That would be a good thing to get up and running because we want to be able to start exploring. And do I not have a belt? I don't think I have an asteroid belt. Well, that could be problematic. I guess we'll see. Yeah, we kind of have to go through our solar system here. Until we get warp, we're kind of limited in what we can do. It looks like I do have, let's see, I have polymer here on this planet, and there's 2 items that are yet to be discovered. This gas giant, I'm sure, has Castellan or whatever however you pronounce that, which is the thing you need to make fuel. So I'm sure our very, very slow traveler will hopefully make some progress and get that done. Is there anything else we could work on right now? I'm still trying to get myself kind of oriented to what we're working on right now. Let's go ahead and get another explorer up and running. There are some individual, well, it looks like there is another couple ships being built here, so spaceport should be next in construction. Once that's up and running, we should have the ability to start cranking out ships there. Our queue is definitely backed up. We have a lot more ship demand than we have availability of resources to do it. We have a shortage of a bunch of resources, so we're kind of a little bit of a problem there. Let's go ahead and look at the ship design. No, these are construction ships. These are build orders. Here's our research screen. So I think it's under military ships, civilian ships. Okay, so these are all the different menus that you could look through. This is the list of colonies. Haven't seen any pirates yet, but I'm sure in very short order we will. We'll see how that goes. Is there any other settings I want to make sure that we have correct? I think that's all fine. So at this point, we're just kind of waiting. We're going to see what comes up here. Ship designs. Let's look at what we got for latest buildable designs of all state bases. I want to look at this small spaceport and see what exactly we got going on here. So we have a little bit of wiggle room here, although the dock is I think I want to put a docking bay. Can't be changed because it's in use. Okay. So I think we're gonna need to make like a new design, right? It's like I said, it's been a little bit since I've played, so I can't really remember how to do some of this stuff, but let's see, recommendations. We have no resources for most of this stuff, so that's not good. Although we do start with some banked, so it's not like it's completely undoable. Okay, so what I need to do is copy as a new or do an upgrade. So let's do an upgrade, and that should let me edit it. And then I can go ahead and add a couple docking bays here. And then I think we want to take off. These weapons are pretty useless at the start of the game, so I think it's okay to take off a lot of that stuff to free up some space. I think I'd much rather have the docking bay and construction yard. And then we can put some stuff in here. Probably missiles would be my best bet. Although we don't necessarily have the crew capacity for that. So I might need to add some basic crew systems first to add more people, which is probably a good thing to have anyway. And the reason for that is when you get raided by pirates, they can board your ships and your stations. And if you have more crew, you have more defense against that. So it might end up being a net positive to have that available to you. Let's go ahead and just refill out these weapons for the time being. Long range cannon is fine. So 3 missiles and a cannon. And those are all the large hull points. So there's nothing we can really do with this right now. So I think the docking bays and shaving down the weapons a little bit, adding some crew capacity, I think that is good for the time being. So that will update that. And I think, I'm not sure, but this might automatically upgrade this. Probably not. Maybe we'll have to hit update. But we probably should have got that going first. Looks like our exploration ship is... I'm going to increase the speed a little bit, and we're going to take a look at our first exploration ship here, scanning the gas giant. So in 80 seconds, we should know what resources it has readily available. Hopefully, it'll have at least some. Construction ship. So the construction ship's really not going to have much to do right now. Just because there's no mining locations, or at least none that we've discovered yet. Okay, there we go. So now we have a bunch of gas available to us, and that means the constructor ship should have the ability to go to those resources and build. So yes, let's assign a mission to do that, and let's assign a mission to do that. So there we go. This is actually really good, having a 98% along with the 86 and 54. That's super, super good. So I'm glad to see that. I don't know what this ship is doing. Looks like they're coming back to service our, or not service. They're coming back to scan our initial planet, and I was hoping they'd go over here and start exploring, but you know, they'll get around to it at some point. We are almost done building the small spaceport. Once that's done, we can start building some other ships. Spaceport is constructed. I think the first thing we want to do is retrofit it and upgrade it to the newer spaceport, because that'll give us some extra docks, which means we could build more ships at a time. And then we got some civilian ships getting built here as well. So if we look back at our funding, no, it's not under funding levels, it's under here. We could see like our maintenance costs and everything for, yeah, so private economy. It's kind of interesting if you're not familiar with how this game handles it, but you have both your state economy and your private economy, and the ships that get built automatically in the private economy will come out of this cash reservoir, and the ships that you build for military and exploration, whatever, come out of this cash. Now, you want to make sure that under your annual expenses here, that as much of your money as possible is going towards, like, I don't want any money reserved. I want all of my cash flow to be pumping into here, because the more resources we have available to pump into here, the faster everything is going to be growing for us. So I think that is definitely the best course of action, at least for the time being. Our second exploration ship is up and running, so it is currently going over there to continue its exploration. What did we discover here? Did we discover anything? I thought, well, it did scan, but it doesn't look like it found any additional resources. Maybe it just found, I don't know what it found. I didn't see a pop up. But anyway, I think it's in your best interest in general to make sure that you're spending all of your money that's available to you, as long as you're not going into the negatives, and make sure that it's making its way into colony growth and research, because that's just going to propel stuff along. So We are being maybe a little aggressive on our spending at the moment because we are in the negative, which means, unfortunately, no extra money is going into colony growth or research. But as this colony grows, as people become more developed, as they become happier and our tax rate changes, that will we should see this number go up slowly over time, and then those extra resources will be put into our colony and our research. Right now, a 50-50 split. I would argue it's probably more important to do colony growth up front because the amount of money you're getting into research is almost nothing. And growth is probably better served because the faster you grow, the faster you get people that can then generate more tax revenue. All right, research station is constructed. I do not see to have gotten the event, so I'm going to go ahead and crash research this just to try to get this done as fast as possible. We do have a new scientist available, which is great. Let's go ahead and look at our leader here. I don't just want to look at the leader. I want to look at the other people we have. Where's our scientist? Under here. Okay, so we have a general who has +4. We have a scientist who is currently transferring to a research station. They should give us a bonus, and then they'll learn skills as time goes on. This guy is trusting and industrialist, which I don't know if I like the negative population growth. That's not a good trait, but the mining rate is okay. That'll give us more resources to work with. And then hopefully at some point we'll get a spy and we'll be able to actually spy on people. Our exploration ship is now scanning this planet. I'm sure we're going to find some resources over here. Although it's going to take forever for them to reach any of these planets. So I have to make sure they don't wander off, because when we're ready to upgrade them to the newer units with jump drives, as soon as this is done, I don't want them to be in the middle of wandering away. Okay, so we do have steel available, which is great. We definitely need that. Research breakthrough has produced a new scientist. Okay, so we have no other tech available to us right now. So I think this will give us the skip drive, which we just finished. This would be our first research. So 14 years till that's research. So I think we need to look at some of our other options here. I think one of the better things to research up front is some form of like ion cannons. And the reason for that is there's a chance with ion weapons that you can disable pirate ships once we start getting raided. And the sooner you get to a point where you can disable them, along with early torpedo weapons, being able to use torpedoes to take them out, the faster you can start boarding them and taking over their ships. And that will result in you being able to break down their ships to discover more technologies. So it's just kind of a win-win situation. So that's probably the best course of action we could take. Let's go ahead and look at our ship designs, and we're going to look, instead of state bases, we're going to look state ships, and we are going to want to upgrade all of these to include this new skip drive. Although now we have some sizing issues, so we're probably going to have to take, at least a missile off of here. We do CST2. That's fine. Let's upgrade this exploration ship. We are going to want to, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to take like a fuel cell off of here in order to put on the skip drive. Although we do have some wiggle room here. So we are not utilizing the full energy here. So our energy usage exceeds what we're actually generating. So instead of our drive maxing out at, I think, 10K is the hyperdrive speed, it's only ever going to go up to 8K because it just can't generate enough energy. But It's early in the game, and that's fine, and we don't have any more spots where I can open it up. So down the road, that will kind of remedy itself as we research better technologies. So we could name this the Explorer-1, even though it's not the first one, and we'll go ahead and do that. Escorts, I'm not messing with at the moment, just because there's no point in building escorts right now. It's just not worth it. When these guys are done, I would like to queue up a retrofit. Although it looks like I didn't queue it up, I just had them immediately retrofit. So I am going to build another Explorer as well. If we look at our I got to get the hang of these menus again. I still don't remember where everything is at. We look at our construction yards. We are kind of catching up on our production at this point. Our spaceport does have two spots to build, and we are getting some mining ships, which are gonna go and just directly mine the resources, not just from the base, but which we are building, but they'll just go and like actually tap directly into the resource. So okay, we do have a new spy, and we do have a new resource available. I am gonna looks like he's already going to retrofit on his own, so that is perfectly fine. Now these ore prospectors are just, and these light freighters are just small ships that are local right now, but at some point we'll probably have to do something with them that's a little more involved. So I don't have any target empires right now, so we'll just leave that be for the time being. There we go. We are undergoing our first hyper jump now. So if we go ahead and zoom out, we should see, there we go. Now our radius can take us through our entire solar system. So we should be able to now explore the entire solar system. Hopefully that will help us find the resources, find and get the resources we need. But right now we're just focused on getting our little planet up and running. Let's go ahead and look at our ship designs. Instead of state ships, we're going to look at civilian ships, and we're going to want to upgrade our ore prospector. We're going to want to add a skip drive onto this, and we will have to probably take a fuel cell away in order to accommodate that. Ew, looks like we might have to take a little more than that away. Maybe we could take a missile off. I don't think a missile is going to do any good, so we'll just do that for now. And then let's look at the light freighter. We'll upgrade this. This has a, oh, it needs a hyperdrive. Now that we have the hyperdrive technology, we have to put one on there, which is fine. We definitely have the room for it. Wait. Freighter 1. Okay, so that should do that just fine. And now our civilian ships, as well as our state ships, with the exception of the escort, all have the ability to do hyper jumping once they fully upgrade. So all right, I think that is a pretty successful first episode to get us started. So we really haven't done much aside from kind of make sure we had a stable economy. We're exploring our local resources. We have not yet been invaded by pirates, but as our exploration ships continue to go out and survey our planets here in our solar system, we are bound to run across them, and before you know it, we will be completely drowned in pirates attacking our primary system non-stop. There's really very little we're going to be able to do about that. So for the time being, I think that's a good spot to put the cut in. If you like the video, please consider hitting the like button. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content in the future, and we will catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.